Mr. Aguirre, do I have am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Microphone.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, sir. My questions are based on your opening statements, and I want to juxtapose your framing of the situation and your recommendations against the current situation in Canada, where industry and government is seeking the acceleration of AI commercialization. And so you've warned that unsafe systems pose extreme risks. Could you briefly highlight what you think are minimum non-negotiable safety guardrails that Canada would needs to put in place before allowing the deployment of advanced AI models?
Yes, I think first of all, it's a talking point of the industry that there's some kind of tension between having safety or reliability or trustworthiness in our AI systems and having them roll out well into the economy and lead to high productivity. I think these are actually the same thing. The primary barrier to better adoption of AI in the economy and boosts of productivity is that people simply don't trust them. They don't feel like they can rely on the AI systems. They don't understand how they're operating. And this is a product of how these systems have been developed, where they create one system to try to do everything and to be a full human replacement, rather than build specific tools for specific purposes. So I believe that if we take a different tack of building purpose-driven AI tools for things like scientific research, or for things like mathematics, or even for things like, helping you keep your calendar, but that they're actually tested for being able to do those things well and reliably and in a trustworthy and safe way, that will be a huge economic boost relative to the current direction that things are going, which is more focused on wholesale replacement of human labor. So I think the crucial thing is that there is an external evaluation system that can test by an independent agency or authority that an AI system is safe and reliable before it goes to market, just as Max was discussing.
So the products that we're seeing today have been driven by demand. I would expect that there's the prospect of an ROI and based on that satisfies the expenses of the research and development process, and that's what's driving the commercialization of the products that we currently see, and is driving the discussion about how it can go farther. But if we were to talk about a pause or or changing the direction that's being taken, what's the lever that you would propose can be pulled to initiate that? Because it would seem that right now, what Mr. Aguirre, that what the companies are doing is they're looking to provide products, and through those products, solutions to consumers, being individuals and businesses that are going to make, frankly, are going to make them money.
Okay, just hang on a sec here before we get to the answer. I've stopped your time. Mr. Tegmark, I do see your hand up. I'm assuming it's because you have something you want to add. The questions are directed generally to the person by the member of the committee. So perhaps when it's your time to speak, you can answer in regards to the point you want to make, or somebody can ask you directly. But the question is to Mr. Aguirre from Mr. Barrett. Your time has started again.
Yes. So the direction of AI products to actual consumer needs is exactly what I would like there to be, and exactly I think what there will be if we focus on tools that are actually built for people to help them. What we're seeing is a mixture of that in some cases with another dynamic, which is what is the same dynamic that drove the social media rollout, which is to try to capture as large as possible of a market share as quickly as possible. So, for example, I'm an educator. All three of us are. Overnight, it happened that you could not assign essays to students or even problem sets in physics or mathematics because suddenly there was an AI system that would simply do the students' homework for them. And the students feel like essentially they have to use AI to write their essays or do their problem sets because all of the other students are using those things. And so this is not something that was demanded by the educational system. This is something that was pushed into the educational system to the detriment of our students. Pardon
the interruption. I have limited time, and I do appreciate you answering my question. But how would you propose the solution that you have or the direction that you propose comes to pass? Is it a question of enforceability? Is it a question of leadership in government? Is it a question? How do you envision that coming to pass? Because, like you said, they're looking to capture as much market share as they can, as fast as they can.
I'm going to ask in 30 seconds or less, please.
The same. Pharma companies also want to capture as much profit as they can, and they still have to prove that their products are safe and effective before they go to market. I think the same thing should be true of AI. Specify what your AI product is supposed to do and explain how it does that safely and reliably to an external authority, get it approved, and put it on market. And I think that will lead to much, much better AI products and much better adoption, as well as change the direction from all-purpose systems that are meant to replace people to useful tools that are meant to help them.
Thank you.
Mr. Hardy is from the Conservative Party. Thank you for being here, everyone. Let's start with Mr. Tegmark, who we haven't heard too much from today yet. You talked about AI's potential to be transformative, and talk about positive objectives for humanity. I want to hear what you have to say about medical research. Is that coming in the near future? Are these goals that we need to look at? And how can that change the medical field? How can it improve it? And then maybe my next question will be asking, should governments be involved to help our society? To help things such as chronic disease or degenerative disease? So I want to hear what you have to say about AI and the medical field.
Yeah, thank you. This is something very close to my heart. AI has enormous potential for improving medical treatments, curing cancer, and so on. And this is not in the future. It's in the past already. We've seen, even though all the AI companies talk a lot about curing cancer, there's actually one company only that has really made real progress here. That's Google DeepMind, released AlphaFold, got the Nobel Prize for it, which is really helping drug discovery. Cancer has already gone from killing maybe 80% of the people for some types to 20%. So we're sort of 80% of the way there towards curing cancer. The key risk I worry about here is simply that we squander all these incredible benefits by letting AI-based pharma remain completely unregulated, which can cause a backlash. Many of you remember there was a product called thalidomide that was sold in Canada and in America to pregnant women with morning nausea. And because pharma was completely unregulated back then, this caused over 100,000 babies in North America to be born without arms or legs, which is in turn why the Food and Drug Administration was created. So yes, let companies innovate amazingly cure diseases with AI, but let's treat them the same way we treat pharma companies and just make sure they don't get to release products until they've been properly tested.
Donc, en gros, ce que vous dites, c'est que l'intelligence
So essentially, you're saying that AI can really help the planet solve many chronic diseases and heal many degenerative diseases. But the problem is not the speed of the progression, but rather you cannot just let companies that are only motivated by profit to put into market products that are not ready yet. However, I think that it can even help with ultra-specialized treatments. Do you also see that in your research? In the overall AI market, to have treatment that is even more specialized for each specific human instead of having this more general approach?
Absolutely. There's huge potential in making customized treatments, can sequence the patient's DNA, for example, for cancer, figuring out which particular mutations do they have in their cancer cells, develop a custom treatment just for them. Absolutely incredible opportunities there. And I'm a firm believer in innovation and in private sector innovation. The key to get this is to create the right incentives. So in pharma, in aviation and restaurants, even industry innovates to produce safe products where the harm outweighs the good, because those are the ones that they're allowed to sell, right? And if we can quickly create the correct incentives for the AI industry, then these companies that are currently doing, in my opinion, very reckless things will quickly focus on innovating to race to the top with safe products. It's not, I don't blame the companies. I blame simply the lack of providing the right incentives to them.
Merci beaucoup. Ma dernière question va aller
Thank
pour...
you very much. My final question will be directed towards Mr. Kruger. Earlier today, and this is the first time we heard it, we've been hearing about how private companies are aiming to even remove humans from the equation. So to reduce the number of people who are hired by companies who will adopt AI. Currently, are companies studying ROI? So big tech is saying, is big tech companies saying, okay, we did right to convert humans to AI or to use AI instead of humans? Or are they realizing that actually overseeing AI is just as costly as humans? Thank you. I will ask my question to Mr. Kruger again. I think it's an important question. So we see a lot of businesses that are investing in AI with the goal to eventually replace employees and to make more profit. Last week I raised this question at committee and it led to great answers. So do you see these big tech companies that are investing in AI? How are they measuring their ROI? Do they really see good return on investment? Or is the cost of managing AI to make sure that the work is done properly, is it more expensive than having a well-trained employee?
There's going to be cases where it's more expensive or less expensive at present. And one important thing to recognize is that AI doesn't have to do the job better if it can do it much cheaper. So we might see replacement of competent humans with less competent AI at scale because it's just cheaper, which I think would be a bad outcome. On the other hand, I think we have to think about where this is all headed, because it's going there very fast in a few years. So I think within a few years, we will see AI that is extremely competitive replacement for most human labor. And that is the premise on which these investments are being made. The massive investments to build AI are justified by the belief that this, in fact, will, or at least might, lead to the creation of something like superintelligence, like we've been describing here.
Mais est-ce qu'aujourd'hui, on a les compagnies...
Today, so business never invest without looking at KPI and things like that. People are always talking about the future, but what about the measurements today? Currently, is there ROI or is nothing measured when it comes to their investment?
They're measuring some things. I mean, I think, Silicon Valley companies, historically, they care more about growth and dominating a market and addicting customers before, they even tried to make a profit. So I think like Amazon famously didn't make any profit for like 10 years or something. So, I think, I don't know what they're looking at right now, but I don't think that this is, what is driving the investment. And I think if you take seriously the possibility of AGI and superintelligence in a few years, which the investors and especially the people building it do, then the investment is certainly justified, except that this is also incredibly dangerous and shouldn't be happening. And if it kills everybody, it will kill the investors, it will kill the people who own these companies, it will kill everybody in this room. And it won't matter if we've created a bunch of good businesses, as Sam Altman says. It won't matter if we've cured cancer, etc.
Thank you, Mr. Kruger.